Hey guys, it's Laura here from Laura's Creative Pages and Cards, and today we're going to do a good day to be happy. And I love the brightness of this card. So we need our card base, and we're doing it in the landscape, so it's the 5.5 wide by 4.25. We're going to need 2 pieces of the nectarine card, and they are cut at 1.5 by 5.5. With our decorative dot paper, this is cut at 5.5 by 2.5. And then we've got 2 green apple little skinny strips. These ones here are cut at 5.5 by 1/4. Plus we have this other green apple piece, which is cut at 1 3/4 by 3.5. And we need the white daisy piece, which is cut at 1 5/8 by 3 3/8. And then I've actually used a bit of the yellow zip strip. So this is what's on top of each of the decorative papers. With the zip strip, once that's taken off, I'm just cutting off 2 3/4 inch strips. And that's the pieces we need for this card. Okay then, so what we're going to do is we're going to start by adhering both of these nectarine pieces to the card. And what I've done is I've decided to just cut 2 of the larger pieces so that when we go to stick on the decorative piece, it's just, you're going to have the freedom to fit it over the top where you're comfortable, rather than trying to make everything match up. There's nothing worse than trying to match everything up on the top of a card and you've slightly cut it a little bit wrong. So we're sticking on these 2 pieces, one at the very top and one at the very bottom, making sure they line up on the very outer edges. Okay, now that they're stuck on, we're going to bring in the dots paper. And so as I was saying, you can move it and position it exactly where you want, with the freedom of having those wider nectarine pieces. So I'm just going to place 3 large strips on this particular piece, 1 at each end and 1 in the middle. And then I'm going to line it up and position. So I'm actually going to straighten my card up onto my Versamat, so that I can line up that dot paper, and I'm actually sticking this on 1/2 inch from the bottom of the card. So that's where I'm placing it on this time, 1/2 inch from the bottom. Okay, with the green apple strips, they are going to go over the top of the decorative dot paper to again hide the joins and the seam. So with them being slightly narrow, I'm putting 4 pieces of tape along it, and then I'm placing it over the top of the dot paper to hide that seam, that where it's overlapping the orange. Okay, so that's how those 2 go on. Next, I'm going to, I'm just removing a little bit of adhesive that I over stuck on there. Next, we're going to add on the matting for the sentiment, so the green apple matting, and I want to elevate this with a little bit of 3D foam tape. So just grabbing my 3D foam tape, and I'm just going to cut off what would be the height of the matting, and I'm just going to trim this in half because I don't need it that wide, and place 1 on each end. Now, when I stick the next amount of 3D foam tape on, I need to make sure that I leave an area for those little dovetailed pieces to slide in up under. So I'm going to strategically place these 2 pieces so that I have a little area available for my dovetail pieces to slip under. Okay, so as you can see, when I flip that over, I've got the little spacing for those dovetail pieces to fit under. So trying to always think a little bit ahead of what the next piece is that's going on. So now that I've got the adhesive on it, I'm ready to actually press that down and lay that onto my card. Once I feel confident it's straight, then I'll press it down. These are the little zip strip pieces that I want to dovetail. So again, you find the center of the little rectangle, you cut a little slit, and then you cut from each out a corner into that slit mark to just take out 2 little triangles, and that creates the dovetail. Now that they're cut, I want to grab my journal pen and just give it the little journal border. This always just makes the little bits of paper pop. They really stand out that little bit more once they've got that black outline. So just placing those there. I'm also going to do the same thing on the actual card on the nectarine pieces, is adding that journal border. And again, that just helps the card have a little bit of an extra pizzazz, a little bit of a pop. So holding my pen tight, dragging my hand down the board. Okay, and now we're just going to pop those little dovetail pieces up underneath that gap I'd made. So using the 3D foam tape again, just to elevate them and give them a little bit of a raise. Just one piece in the center of each one, slide it up underneath where I've left that gap. And this card is almost complete, just a little stamping to go. Okay, so we're going to use the outline of the happy. I think this is my most favorite part of this stamp set, this outline. There's so many ways to use it. When I'm placing it on my white card, I'm making sure I'm stamping it on the lower part of the white card, allowing enough room above it so that a good day to be can fit in above the happy. So now that that's stamped on, let's get this a good day to be above it. Again, showcasing how amazing it is to have clear blocks to see exactly what we're doing. Now that that's done, I'm going to add a really super fun journal border doodle to the edge. So what I do is just draw a straight line, a little like a semi-long dash, and then I stop. And when I stop, I just add a couple of dots or a single dot. I'm very random. I don't do specific amount of dots each time I stop. It's actually better to be more random. The length of the lines vary. It's so fun and just makes it look really different. Okay, and then these are the colors that I use specifically on my card. So I use the orange blend, the magenta, the dull green, the aqua blue, and the citrus blend. They are the colors that I used on my sample, and to color in each letter individually. So just grab any color, it doesn't have to be the same order that I've done, and then just color in each letter individually with the marker. Of course, you may not have 5 different color markers. You would be more than, it'd be more than suitable just to color all 5 letters in the same color. Like it doesn't need to be random colors. But if you would love to have random colors and you don't have markers, there is another option. Grab yourself 5 pieces of scrap cardstock, 5 different colors, and using the black ink and the outline happy, just stamp the letters onto these scraps. So this pink has got the H, and then this yellow, and so you will get, extra letters stamped on there, obviously, to fit them on. I'm going to take the A from the yellow, and then on the pink, I'm now aiming to stamp this, just the P on there, and I accidentally stamped it too close to the edge, so I'm just going to stamp that again, so that I've got the P on the raspberry piece. And next I'm going to grab the glacier and stamp the other P, the stripy P, onto the glacier. So that's the one I'm going to cut out of there. And then with the green apple, I'm just going to stamp the Y onto that. So I've got my 5 colours for the 5 colours. So here's the one I've already coloured in, but I just want to show you that with the coloured cardstock, this time when you cut out, don't leave a gap. Actually cut on the black line, because we want that letter to fit within our stamped area. So obviously if you've stamped the happy beneath, you're not going to have any colouring in. It's just going to be plain white. And so the black edge on that, the black edge is what's going to show up really well. So you need to cut on the black edge of this particular paper. Once you're doing it, you'll understand exactly what I mean. Okay, so let's stick this sentiment onto the card to finish it off. And that will be the end of this card. It's a really simple card, but it's so bright, so vibrant. And we cover the entire card front. There's no white showing, so for a little bit different. And then, of course, if you don't have the textures and you've gone ahead and stamped on 5 different pieces of colour cardstock, this here is exactly what it will look like. It's really fantastic. I like the look of this a lot. I'm almost swaying to actually prefer the coloured cardstock letters over the coloured in ones. So how cool is that you can just use your coloured cardstock and black ink. Thanks so much, guys. Have a fabulous day.